Yeah, hi everyone. Till now we discussed the multi-threading topic, that is multi-threading. So what is multi-threading and how to create threads and all, what is synchronization and all. So in this today we'll discuss the next topic, the next unit, that is exception handling. Okay. So almost all every topic within this unit are important only. So exception handling unit itself is a very important point. As a practical point of view or theoretical. So there are two fixed questions. One is exception, program on exception, and explanation, some explanation part. So as the most important topic is here, the unit. Okay. So we'll discuss what is the exception handling, how to handle exception, and how to create exception. So I'll try to cover everything. Okay. Even it is not mentioned for syllabus, I'll try to cover everything. So this is a very most important thing in Java. The exception handling is the most important. Okay. So now you already know what is exception. Okay. Exception, with respect to object oriented programming language, exception is nothing but an error. Okay. Exception is nothing but an error. So what is the error? Error means the mistake made by the user. The mistake made by the user in your code. If you do any mistakes, by mistakes, if you type anything, so it may cause an error. Okay. It may cause an error. So the higher version of error is an exception. We can consider, generally, the higher version of error we can consider as an exception. So okay, exception is nothing but an abnormal condition. So the basic definition is exception. Exception is nothing but an, so in general it is an error, but with respect to object-oriented programming language, especially in Java, we call it as an exception. So exception is nothing but an abnormal condition. Abnormal condition which arises during a program execution or a runtime. Okay. So what happens? For example, you are writing a code and something happened. Means something happened in between, in the middle of the program execution. So what actually happens when if there is any exception or any error during your within your program and you started your program execution, so suddenly if any exception occurs, so suddenly your program is going to end. Means, see, it does end means the program is going to terminate. Okay. So this is what we call it as an abnormal condition. This is what we call it as an abnormal condition. So if you go to the definition of exception, is an exception is an abnormal condition that arises in a code sequence means within a program at the runtime. Okay. And interrupt, it terminates your program. So this is a basic definition of exception. Just remember, exception is an abnormal condition which arises in a code sequence at runtime, and it is going to terminate your program. Now, coming to the Java exception handling. The Java exception is an object. So we know that the Java is a pure object-oriented language. Java is a pure object-oriented language. That is, almost everything is represented by using an object. So similarly, the exception is also expressed. So exception is also denoted by using an object only. If any exception is occurred, so that is also represented by using an object only. So Java exception is an object that describes a condition that has occurred in a piece of code. So Java exception is also an object. Means whenever the exception occurs, the object of that particular exception class is generated or created, and it has been thrown. Okay. So that is what the exception is also in Java. Exception is also described or denoted by an object. Okay. When exceptional condition arises, an object representing that exception is created and thrown. So as I said, when an exception condition is arises during a runtime, an object representing that exception means the class. We have a class hierarchy. We'll discuss what is the class hierarchy of exception in Java. So whenever any exception is generated in Java, so that the exception representing that particular exception class means the object is created with respect to that particular exception class. Now that object is created and it has been created and thrown in the method that caused error. Means thrown means the exception is generated and object is created and object is thrown. So see, basically see this what this object consists: this description of exception, the line number where it has occurred, okay, and what is the current status of your program. So this is all three information this exception object is consists. Okay, the exception can be generated by the Java runtime system, or they can be manually generated by your code. Means see, once you go through the class hierarchy of exception, to understand what are the Java runtime system or manual generated by your code. Means see, we'll discuss what is the error and exception. So, okay, so now there are some basic errors and exceptions are there within the class hierarchy. We'll see what is the error and exception. So okay, so now exception can be generated by Java runtime. It means JVM or the Java itself can generate some exceptions. Java itself can generate some exception, or they can be manual generated by code. Means they may be exception may be generated by your code, or may be generated by the JVM itself. Okay, so we discuss class hierarchy, and you will understand what are the exception. So what are the example for JVM or Java environment exceptions, and the exception generated by your code. Now Java exception handling is managed by 5 keywords. So okay, basically these 5 keywords are the most important in exception handling in Java. The first 5 these 5 keywords are try, catch, throw, throws, and finally. Okay, we'll discuss in detail what is the use of try, what is the use of catch, how to use the try, catch, and throws, and finally. So just remember, try is used to we are enclosing our code within a try block. Okay, no any exception generated within a try block are cached within a catch block. So try and catch keywords are used to declare blocks. Blocks are nothing but a set of codes enclosed within a parenthesis. Okay, next is the throw. The throw keyword is used to throw your exception manually. You can generate your own exception. You want to throw. And next is the throws. Now throws is always used with the methods. Okay, throws always used with the methods. So it denotes that this particular method is going to throw an exception in the future, and it is up to the caller who is going to handle this. Now once you declare any method throws a particular exception, and it consists that method may throws or may consist a code which may throw that particular exception, and it is up to the caller of that specific method who is going to handle that exception. Okay, so next is the finally block. See, the finally block, the most important use of a finally block is the finally block is used to declare a code. You are writing code within a final block which are executed whether or not the exception is generated or the not exception is not generated. The finally block codes are executed compulsorily. So, okay, some resource reallocation statements we used to write within a finally block. Okay, next. See, what is the general form? What is the general form of exception handling in Java? Okay, general format. This is a general format. The first, you enclose your code within a try block. We enclose every code. There's a block of code to monitor for errors. Means every code, whatever the code you are going to write, all codes are enclosed within a try blocks. Okay, you are going to write all the codes within a try block. Next is the catch block. Okay, if there is any error within a try block, so that particular exception is catch within this particular catch block. Means for example, you have a divide by 0 error, means it should be, for example, you have if you are carrying any you have a code logic for division operation, so there is a possibility of divide by 0 exception. So now if there is a exception divide by 0 is a possibility, now catch exception should that specific catch exception should be declared. Means the catch block should be declared, like divide by 0. Here the catch block with the divide by 0. Now this particular, see, once this divide by 0 exception occurs or arises or causes an error of exception, that is a divide by 0, then this particular catch, if this catch block matches with that particular exception, now this, see, all the handling codes, what do you want to do with when the exception occurs? So all codes are written within a catch block, specific catch block. Okay, so now we can have a multiple catch blocks, only one try block and multiple catch blocks. Okay, because your code may generate more than one type of exception. So now this is the general form. We can have a try block, one try block and multiple catch blocks. Okay, next is the finally. So this should be in a serial, like first you should have a try, catch and finally. Okay, now the finally block, as I said, the finally block consists executed of the finally block codes are executed compulsorily. Means even if there is a try, even if there is any exception within a try block and you handled exception within a catch block, then also the finally block is going to execute. You have a try block and there is an exception during a runtime and you are not handling within any catch blocks, so then also if you are not handling, means the program is going to terminate abnormally. So this the final block, in that case also the final block is going to be executed. Now the final block is going to be executed compulsory, just remember. Okay, next is a class hierarchy. So now exception class hierarchy. So the most important, this is the most important, the class hierarchy is important. Like here the throwable is a parent class of every exception. Throwable is a parent class. So now above this throwable class there is an object class. Now object is a super class of every class of all Java class. Okay, all Java classes. Object is a super class for all Java classes. The most super class in Java is the object class. Now this is throwable is a child class of an object class. Okay, just remember, throwable is a parent class of all the exceptions. Throwable is a parent class of all the exception. So within this we have a two child classes or a subclasses. So the first one is exception. The second child class is a throwable is a superclass of all exceptions. Within a throwable we have two subclasses or child classes. The first one is exception and second is error. Now here the exception class is also having one more child class, that is a runtime exception. We'll see once you go through the exception class hierarchy, all exception types are subclass of a built-in class throwable. As I said, all exceptions are subclasses of the built-in class throwable. The throwable is a built-in class. So every exception in Java is indirectly a child class of throwable. Now throwable is a parent class of every exception. Okay, now throwable are two subclasses that partition exception into two distinct branches. Okay, as I said, two distinct branches means two distinct subclasses. Okay, the first one is exception. The one branch is headed by the exception. Means the first subclass of a throwable class is an exception class. Next, this class is also used for exceptional condition, that is user program should catch. Program should catch means these exceptions are arises during within your program. These exceptions are generated within your code, within your program, within your application. Okay, so this is also the class that you will subclass to create your own custom exception types. By using this exception class, you can create your own exception. So okay, as I said, you can create, there is a possibility of you can create your own exception and throw. That is the use of by using a throw keyword. Okay, using a throw keyword we can create our own exception throw. So now this is here too, while creating our own exception, the exception class plays an important role here, because every exception we create are the child class or the objects of all child classes of an exception class. Okay, now that is here they mentioned, like this class is used for exceptional condition that user program should catch. And next is, this is also the class that you will subclass to create. Means you can create a child class of an exception to create your own custom exception types. Okay, custom exception types is your own custom exception or user created exception. So there is an important subclass of exception that is called as a runtime exception. As you go through the class hierarchy, see, exception is a child class of a throwable, and one more subclass of a exception class is a runtime exception. Now here the runtime exception, the other there is an important subclass of exception, a runtime exception. Next, other branch is stopped by error. Okay. Now here in the class hierarchy, this is an error. So now error which defines the exception that are not accepted to be caught under normal circumstances by your program. See, these errors are not generated by the user program. These errors are not generated by the user program. Errors are nothing but the system level or JVM level errors. Means the system level errors. So exceptions of a type errors are used by the Java runtime system to indicate errors having to do with runtime environment. The runtime environments like if a JVM running out of memory, stack overflow, these are some examples of errors. Okay, we'll see the class hierarchy examples for errors. Okay, see here, if you go to the exception handling hierarchy here, now here the throwable class. Now this is a throwable class. Now within a throwable class, the parent class, we have two subclasses. The first one is exception and error. Now see, the example for exception is, see, there are some examples for exceptions are the IO exception, SQL exception, class not found exception. So okay, these three are the example. They might be as they have the exception class may consist of more than these three, but just for reference we are just will go through this IO exception, SQL exception, class not found exception. So okay, the subclass of this exception class is a runtime exception. Okay, runtime exception. Okay, see here the example for a runtime exception or a child class of a runtime exceptions are arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, number format exception, index out of bound exception. Index out of bound exception, there are two more subclasses within index out of bound exception. It's array index out of bound and string index out of bound exception. Okay, etc. We have more than this. Just for example, we're considering this. Now here, see, within this exception, so these, as I said, the exceptions are generated by your code only. Exceptions are generated, so these exceptions are generated by your code only, like IO exception or SQL exception. So these exceptions generate within your code, within your program. Okay, see here. And one more side, there is one more child class within error, that is see, the child class of throwable is error. So now error is these exceptions are generated by Java runtime environment. Like a stack overflow is, it's a Java runtime environment, means that stack overflow error is generated by the system itself, and a virtual machine error or a out of memory error. So these three examples, if you observe these three examples, so these three examples are related with the Java system environment, means a JVM, like a Java virtual machines. Okay, these errors are Java virtual machine errors. Okay, so these are the examples of see, example, or you can say the class hierarchy of a Java class hierarchy exceptions. Okay, see one. Okay, next. Okay, so this is all about the class, the exception types or exception hierarchy, class hierarchy. So first is throwable, and this throwable is the parent class of all the exceptions. Now the child class of a throwable class is exception, and one more child class is error. Now the subclass of exception class is a runtime exception. Okay. Now, it's now how to catch, means how to handle exception using a try catch blocks. As I said, there are 5 important keywords. The first one is the try catch, throw, and throws. Try catch, throws, and finally. So okay, so coming to the how to handle the exception, how to handle exception manually. So even though we have a exception handling, default exception handling is provided by the Java. Default exception handling is provided by the Java, even though we can handle our own exception, our code exceptions. So okay, usually here, by using a try catch block, how to handle exception by using a try catch block. you will usually when you usually want to handle exception yourself, means if you want to exception handle yourself, or if you want to handle exception manually, so doing so provide two benefits. So what is the benefit? The first one is it allows to fix it. See, if you don't handle the exception, if you don't handle any exceptions within your program, see what is the benefit? Your program is going to terminate abnormally. Okay, so this to avoid this, we use the try and catch blocks. We like to avoid the to avoid the terminate program. Terminate program automatically, we use a try and catch block. So here doing so provides the two benefits. So what are the two benefits of handling exception manually? First, it allows to fix the errors. First, it will using a try and catch block. The benefit is it allows you to fix the errors. And second benefit is it prevents the program from automatically terminating. So obviously, if you are not handling any exception, your program is going to terminate automatically during a runtime. Okay. Next is to guard against a runtime error. Simply enclose the code that you want to monitor inside the try block. If you want to monitor any code, so you are just enclosing within a try block. Whatever if there is any possibility of the code that if you feel that your code may generate any exception, then just simply enclose those codes within a try block, and catch block is used to catch that particular exception, any exceptions. Okay. No, the guard against handle a runtime error. Okay, guard against a runtime error. Okay, simply enclose the code that you want to monitor inside the try block. Means you are enclosing your code. Within a try block. Okay, immediately following the try block, include a catch clause or catch block that specifies the exception type that you wish to catch. Okay, immediately following the try block. Immediately after the try block, there should be a catch block. Compulsory. You should not write any statements. In between try and catch blocks, you should not write any statements, any program statement, any program codes. So after the try block, you should have a catch block. Immediately after the try block, you should have a catch block. Okay. Next is we'll see an example how to use the try and catch blocks. Okay. Next here. See example for exception here. So I declared a class called as exception demo, xdemo, and okay, if I remove here within the main method, I declared two variables int d and a. Just as I said, just enclose your code within a try block. Okay. For example, here this may we are performing a division operation. Now this may cause a divide by 0 exception or arithmetic exception. Divide by 0 is nothing but an arithmetic exception. This is the child class of runtime exception. Okay. Now if I change to once you go to the first we declared a try block. Next is a catch block. Within a catch block, we are we're handling a arithmetic exception because we're performing arithmetic exception. Okay, we're performing arithmetic exception. So this may arithmetic exception nothing but division. So this may cause a division divide by 0 error. Okay. That is why this is the arithmetic type or arithmetic exception type. May generate arithmetic exception type. So we are handling the arithmetic exception. So we are catching within a catch block. We mentioned arithmetic exception here. So next. So the flow of execution is the first try block is executed. If any exception is generated, the specific catch block is searched, and that particular catch block is executed. So now within the catch block, we are writing a handling code. Once your code generates any exception, so how you are going to handle? So simply I am just printing here divide by 0. So you can have any other code to handle that particular exception. Okay. After after the catch block. After the catch statement is just I am printing a message after the catch statement. Okay. Now you should not separate this try and catch block. So after closing the try block, you should have a catch block. You should start a catch block declaration. Okay. Now see once you go run this program, what happens if I make it as a 2? See, so d value is 2 and a is 42. See, sorry, a is assigned a result 42 divided by d. Now d value is 2. The answer of a is 21. Answer of a is 21. Now the program is, so within try block, so now the program executes normally, and the a stores a value 21. A stores a value 21, and this statement is printed. Like, this will not be printed. Okay, this will not be printed. The message is printed. How we'll see. Since this since we have no error here, so all the statement within a try blocks are executed. Since we have no error, so all the statement within try blocks are executed. So now the output, if I make it d as a 2, the a value is 21. Okay, this statement is executed. After this, the control directly transferred to here after catch statement is printed. Okay, next me to the, if I make it a 0, if I make a d value as a 0, now see, now what happens, d is 0, we are dividing any number by 0. Now so it's obvious that it is going to, now this is going to throw an exception, that is divided by 0, that's indirectly arithmetic exception. Now once this statement is executed, the divided by 0 exception is occurred, that is arithmetic exception. So now divided by 0 exception is occurred or causes, see, so if there is a divided by 0 error means or exception means, so control directly search for a specific catch block, where is there any catch block which is handling arithmetic exception. So we declared a catch block here which is handling arithmetic exception. Now control directly transport after this statement, we assigned a value 0 to d. Now d is divided by 42 is divided by 0 exception. Okay, now control directly transport to here. Next, this message is printed, divide by 0. Now after this message is printed after catch statement is executed. Okay, this is the how the program works, okay, using try and catch block. So if you for example, if you have not written your code, you are not handling exception, or you are not declared any try and catch blocks, even though programs work properly, but if in case any exception like a divided by 0, the program is going to terminate abnormally. Okay, so this is how we use the try and catch blocks. Okay, coming to the next point, multiple catch blocks. So it is not the case like we can have only one, like our program may generate only one exception. So there is possibility like we have a lengthy code, and that code may generate more than one exception at a time. The tribe, we enclosed our code within a try block, and that code may generate more than one exception. Okay, so in case if it handles more than one, if it generates more than one exception, so you can have more than one catch blocks. Means more than one catch blocks means you can handle more than one exception at a time. So in some cases, what happens? Some cases more than one exception could be arised by single piece of code. So your code, a single piece of code may generate more than one exceptions. Okay, so when an exception is thrown, each catch statement is inspected in order, and the first one whose type matches that of the exception is executed. Means, for example, we have a for example, our try block is generating or causing some two types of exceptions. For example, arithmetic exception and array index. For example, we consider array index out of bound exception. So if a try block is generating two exceptions, like arithmetic exception also and array index out of bound exception also, so in that case we should have two types of two catch blocks. Okay, the first catch block should handle the arithmetic exception, and second catch block should handle the array index out of bound exception. We'll see an example how it works. So just remember, one try block may generate more than one exception, and for each exception we should have a specific catch block which handles that particular exception. Okay, now once the exception is generated, these that particular exception, see JVM, what JVM will do is JVM try to search for matching exception class, matching catch block which is handling that particular exception. After one catch statement executes, the other are bypassed and the execution continue after try and catch blocks. Okay, so even if you handle every exception generated by the try blocks, so once you handle the exception using a catch blocks normally, so now the normal flow of execution starts, means normal flow of execution continues. Okay, now we'll see an example how to handle the multiple catch blocks, means how multiple exceptions. For example, here within this example I declared a class called as a multiple catch demo. So within the multiple catch demo, within a try block, I declared a variable called as int a. Now assigned variable a as 2. Now just printing a value. Now this prints a as a 2. Okay, a as 2. Now here, so now b is assigned. I am assigning a b value of the 42 divided by a, the 42 divided by a. So here also division operation. So there are possibility like there is a possibility like this division operation may generate an exception of divide by 0, or indirectly arithmetic exception. Okay, next is the int c. The c is in c variable is of type array. Now size of array is 2. Now here I am assigning at the 42nd index I am assigning 99. So this generates an array index out of bound exception, because see the size of C array is 2. Size of array C is 2. Now if you assign at the 42nd, or for example if you take at the 8th location, at the 8th index, or at the 8th index I am storing a value 99. So this also generated array index out of bound exception. So here there are two possible exceptions. The first one is divided by 0, that is nothing but the array index, that is divided by 0, nothing but the arithmetic exception. And the one more exception type is array index out of bound exception. Why? See, arithmetic exception and array index out of bound exception, because array index out of we have a code performing with the arrays. We have a code which is performing with the arrays. So now this is there are two possible exception types. So okay, when you go through the program, see, once the program starts execution, here the a value is 2. Now b is assigned 42 divided by 2. Now here 21. So now b consists 21. So normal execution, no any exceptions. And here if c is an array, see here this array is declared that c is an variable of type array. The size of c is 2. Now size of c is 2. For example, if I make it as first index, 0 and second index, that is what indirectly a second index. So now see, if I assign the 99 value at the first index, or means at the first index, now this is a normal flow of execution, because a is also 2, there is no any exception divided by 0 also. Now c is the size of c array is 2, the first index I am assigning 99. So this is a normal flow of execution. Now this flow of see, normally this program executes, and this statement also executes. After try catch block message is printed. Now if I make it 0, if I make it 0, a is at 0. Now here the problem may arise because see a is divided by 42 means 42 is divided by 0. Now this generates an exception of type arithmetic exception. Now once this after execution of this statement, control directly transferred to the arithmetic exception. Now see if divided by 0 exception is generating. Now JVM starts for any matching catch blocks. If any matching catch blocks, for example, I have arithmetic exception here, so this catch block is executed. Even though if you don't have see, for example, you skip the if you skip the this statement, the catch block, the program terminates abnormally. Program terminates abnormally because the JVM will not find JVM will not find any matching catch blocks. Okay. Now in this case the program terminates abnormally. So here we have arithmetic catch blocks. Now here in a C, this is not this statement is not generating any exceptions. Okay, this catch block is executed. This catch block is executed, and so since this is not executed because this statement is true. If I make it 0, if I change some value like see at the 20th index, if I assign a 99 value 99, so this causes an error, this causes an exception. Why? Because the value of C, the size of C is only 2. If I try to store any value at the 20th location, so this may cause error or exception. So what is exception? Array index out of bound exception. So here is also an exception, here is also an exception. Now these two statements are executed, these two catch blocks are executed. First it will print divided by 0 and exception. E is just we are printing E. E means object. So this object consists a description of an exception, line number of exception, the current status of a program. Now this statement is also executed, like because this catch block is executed. Why? Because see here, see it is generating our index out of bound exception. Now after this statement is executed. So this is the work of how this works. Okay, this is the flow of execution. How to use a try and catch blocks. One try block, and we can have a multiple catch, not two, more than two. You can have any number of catch blocks. Okay, this is all about how to handle exception. Okay, this is the most important, very important unit, the exception handling. Okay, I'll try to go in deeper, means thoroughly for within this all the topics within this this unit. Okay, in the next part we'll see another two keywords, the throw and throws. Thank you.